Okay, so what's the risk?
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome to our first regular meeting of the Meridian Parks and Recreation Commission. It is 3 past the hour, so we will go ahead and Rachel, please start us off with the roll call.
Yes, thank you. Dom Gelsomino,
Present.
Jennifer Bobo is absent. Mandy Roberts,
Present.
Terry Dennington,
Here.
Alan Helms,
Present.
Joe Greer,
Present.
Helen Muscalo is absent. Torrin Taylor.
Here.
Thank you, Rachel. A quorum being present, I would like to have a motion on the adoption of tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Greer,
I would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
a motion has been made. Do we have a second?
Chair, I'll second that motion.
Seconded by Commissioner Helms. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. Next item, approval of the minutes from the December 10th, 2025 regular meeting. Do I have a motion for the approval of the December meeting minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Greer,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the December 10th regular meeting minutes.
motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Chair, I'll second that motion.
Commissioner Helms has seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. Next up is announcements. A farewell to Meridian Parks and Recreation Commissioner and previous Vice Chair Brienne Sandow. I'll hand over the mic to Steve.
I'll hand it back to you momentarily, but yes, Bree Sandow had to stand down because of a standing work conflict that conflicts with the meeting time of the commission. But we wanted to, even though she couldn't be here tonight for this, we wanted to give the commission a chance to say a more formal farewell on the record and anything you'd like to say. So turn it back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve. I will say, of course, a formal thank you to Commissioner Sandow for her participation and her service on this commission. We have valued all of the input and all of the contributions that she extended and offered throughout the year last year. We're 2 years, right? Yeah, for the last 2 years. And so, we are, of course, saddened that she had to resign, but as all of us understand, life happens and, we have to always do what we can to prioritize the things that are important in our life. So please, if there's any other members of the commission who would like to extend a farewell. Commissioner Dennington.
Yes, I just wanted to say I wish I could have gotten to know her a little bit better, but we were on the float together for Christmas, not this year, but the year before. And I just thought it was great, to spend that time with her and her husband, and it was just an enjoyable time. And I'm sorry that she's not able to continue serving.
Thank you. Any other?
Chair Gelsomino, I'll just say that when I was chair, was when we brought Bree on, and it was great to interview her. She was highly qualified for this role. And it is too bad that she can't continue to serve, but I hope she'll think about serving our community in some other way, even maybe here in the future, as her schedule allows. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Roberts. Commissioner Helms.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I just want to second, the same things you guys are saying. She was very pleasant, very engaging, and very talented and skilled. But we understand. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Any of the members from the Parks Department? Good. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And again, we thank Commissioner Sandow for her time on this commission. With that, we will move on to upcoming events with our very own Shelley Houston.
Yes, on behalf of the park staff, I would also extend warm wishes and thanks to Bree Sandow. She was a delightful person, and the time she had with us was well spent, and we were fortunate to have her. And again, down the road, when circumstances change, she might be able to circle back around, or we'll find other ways to engage with her. So anyway, wanted to say that. I gave you 2 little Scooby snacks tonight. As you can see on the individual sheet, I've been starting to work with this new year to kind of figure out what some of the event dates are that have been decided upon for 2026 events. Some are cast in stone, and some still have a few little question markies that we're trying to fill in. And there will be other things on here that aren't even listed. You didn't hear it from me, but I hear we're looking for a groundbreaking date for the community center in mid to late February, early March, not sure. But anyway, there are a few other surprises that'll be coming up that aren't listed here, but these are the primary events. So if you have any questions or issues, you can let me know. And again, all the details will come in a little finer focus as we move into the new year. We're just getting started, and so at the very least we have the dates, and they're kind of in chronological order of when they take place throughout the year. So and there's some on the back as well. So I'll keep getting you updates as this evolves. The other item I gave you is a lot more colorful. It's our annual report for 2025. We'd hoped to get it to you last month, but we were still figuring up our last minute statistics and factoids so that we can include them, and some photos from our holiday events. So anyway, it's just the year in review in words and pictures, not terribly sophisticated, but it kind of reminds us of some of our highlights, and even some of the smaller accomplishments that we had. So I hope you enjoy seeing the pictures and reading the articles, and it'll serve as a good reminder of all the good work that together we were able to accomplish in 2025. So know that that's for you, and that you're a lot to thank for what we accomplished. That's it for now. So like I say, as the year revs up a little faster, we'll have more things to talk about, but I think this is a good head start for January. Thanks.
Thank you, Shelley. Oh,
Questions, comments, concerns, suggestions?
do we have any questions? Yes, Commissioner Roberts.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Well, I like the live concerts at Kleiner Park. It's one of my favorite things. And so I just update on how that scheduling's.
Yeah, they're going to continue. It looks like, I think we have 6 dates.
Yep.
So there'll be 6 concerts. Again, we will alternate Fridays with the Sparklight Movie Night. That really seemed to work both for the audiences and our staffing. So we're gonna continue doing that. There's also, not to spill the beans or tell the tea, but I think there's going to be some additional live music in downtown Meridian this year, possibly in Generations Plaza. We're looking for a catchy name for it. And it may replace concerts on Broadway. Don't quote me on this, but there's some talk. Certain events have just kind of run their course, and it's time to pump up the jam and freshen things up. And so that's one we're looking at. Another event that we're looking at changing or evolving or rebranding has to do with Unplug and Be Outside, our springtime kickoff event. I think you're going to find that it's a little bit different. And we're looking at dates in early or late May. There's some logistics we have to figure out. So just know, a lot of our old favorites are back. No fear there, but a couple are changing or evolving with the times, and that's always a good thing for all of us. Okay?
Any other questions from the commission? Thank you so
Okay,
much, Shelley.
thanks.
Thank you for all you do.
Mr. Chair, could I
Yes,
just make a
Steve.
quick comment? I want to thank Shelley for the work put into the annual report. She kind of downplayed it a little bit, but it's always neat to me we do so much in a year. It's easy for me to forget how much has happened just over the course of 1 year. So I hope you'll enjoy browsing the annual report. I know I did. And just kind of taking a moment to celebrate, how much has happened. Even on, we didn't have any major park openings last year, but even without that, it's amazing how much still happens that's noteworthy. So I just wanted to encourage you to please take a look at that, and thank Shelley for her work on it.
With that, we have on our new business, CUNA Parks and Recreation update with Chris Regley.
He is not here yet, so we may postpone this agenda item to see if he comes late. Rachel did just go up to look to see if he sent an email, and no emails yet. He did send a PowerPoint earlier today, so I know it's on his radar.
Sure.
He may be stuck in traffic. We're not sure, but we'll just bump him to later in the agenda.
Okay, perfect. We don't need a action item vote for that, correct? Is Emily?
I'm here, and that is
Oh.
correct.
Sorry, what was correct?
No vote needed. You can
Okay,
just
perfect.
move it around to later.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have then our Meridian Parks and Recreation Arts and Culture update with Cassandra Schiffler, who is our Arts and Culture Coordinator.
Thank you. And it's Cassandra with the less like fancy sounding Cassandra. So I'm Cassandra Schiffler. I know a lot of you know me. My background, I have a pretty heavy background in the arts. I've worked in museums, galleries, frame shops. I was a printmaking professor and an art appraiser before I worked here. But I am really happy to serve this community in my capacity as the Arts and Culture Coordinator. So I'm also probably the only city employee to report to 3 different commissions. Most of my work is with the Arts Commission and Historic Preservation Commission. So a lot of what I'm presenting to you is all the work that we do through that. And I also kind of apologize to Councilwoman Roberts because these presentations become their annual reports to council very soon. So the Arts Commission's mission is to develop, advance, and nurture all facets of the arts to enhance the quality of life for Meridian residents and visitors. Here are our commissioners. We normally have 9, and so I have 8 listed here. The one in yellow, Jay Smith, is new this year. And I kind of have some really exciting news on my end. Our chair, who has been Brecken Bird, who's been a commissioner for 3 years, interviewed for the arts assistant position. So she is actually transitioning to staff. It's a very part-time staff role with the city. So she stepped down from the commission. So I think later this afternoon, by the end of the day, there will be an announcement for an open seat on the Arts Commission. As commissioners, all of you kind of know what that entails. If you know anyone in the arts that would like to serve on the Arts Commission, we will be looking for someone. The Historic Preservation Commission's mission is to preserve the character and fabric of historically significant areas and structures within the city to honor and preserve its rich heritage for future generations. Here are our commissioners there. I've highlighted the ones in yellow. So we have almost half of that commission is new this year. And I'll start by talking about the projects for the Historic Preservation Commission. These are some of the commissioners right before one of their downtown walking tours they did. So here are a few ongoing projects that the Historic Preservation Commission does. We have a virtual tour website with several sites, and this year we added a site at Main Street in Carlton. And it's a pretty cool website. These are included in the minutes later, so you can click on it and kind of check it out. And it's the purpose of this is to document sites that may change over in the future. So this seemed like an important site with the school there that is eligible for the National Registry and some sites along Main Street. Kind of, I don't know if you know that image I'm looking at. You can see the church kind of there. That's Meridian Cycle. So that's kind of an important area. So we'll see what happens in the future, but just documenting it for now. And then there's also on the website kind of points of interest. If you click on them, you can find a little bit more information about some of those different sites. We also have a year-round self-guided walking tour with brochures in the kiosks and available on an Android or iPhone. And in addition to the self-guided tours, the commission led 6 guided walking tours this year. There's one of those images is Commissioner Ken Freeze visiting the Pine Street School, which was kind enough to open for us during those walking tours. It's a really interesting site. If you ever get the chance to go in there, they have a lot of historic artifacts and some things on the wall that even school teachers' rules from like the 40s that are very different than you might see in a schoolroom today. One of the biggest projects for historic preservation that I've been working on this year is the Historic Preservation Plan. So there is a 2014 plan that was adopted And so this was really to update the plan, just like the Parks and Rec plan. I think there's kind of every 10 years. This is the State Historic Preservation Office, which is SHPO. You'll see the acronym SHPO, kind of pronounced SHPO. That's the state office. Recommends that we update the plan every 10 years. So we've been working on that and received a grant for the project from SHPO. There were some matching funds involved, but that's how we initiated that project, was through the grant. We started off with a SWOT workshop, which is a strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats workshop. We launched a historic preservation plan website. We had a community survey with 114 responses. There were some public outreach events and walking tour where we were talking about the plan and getting feedback, and gave a city council presentation. And the feedback I got from that, because some of the things in the plan were putting that commission in maybe more of a, not just an advisory role, but a regulatory role, but city council didn't seem very supportive wanted it to remain in an advisory role, but was really interested in what else we could do for historic preservation. So they've adopted the plan, and so the next step will be final city council adoption of that plan. Outcomes from that plan, the highest priority strategies that we found were to go forward with, there are 2 potential historic districts that are eligible for the National Register, to sort of move forward with those, and also prioritize and look at other sites. And what we found was the water tower is now 50 years old and eligible this year. So that I've already received proposals. The commission's going to score the proposals. We'll pick a consultant, and looks like we're going to be moving forward with a nomination for the water tower. And at this point, I do want to put in a caveat on what does that mean, a National Register, something that's listed on there. It is an honorific title, so it's very important, but it doesn't actually stop things being demolished or changed or development over time. So if something's listed on the register, and I know that the state office, SHPO, that's one of the calls that they get every day, that it is an honorific program. If we wanted to do something to protect those properties, that would have to happen at a local ordinance level. Other strategies, oh, okay. Feedback, I wonder if is it less with this one now? Okay. Some of the other priority strategies were looking at the vision for Old Town, so partnering with the planning department and with MDC, the Meridian Development Corporation, to align preservation goals, especially with the MDC's destination downtown plan and with planning's design standards. To continue with a lot of the strategic partnerships that we already have, collaborations with the state office, with Preservation Idaho, which is a local nonprofit, with the Ada County Historic Preservation Commission, and with the Library History Center. Also, to continue promotion of public outreach, sort of like Preservation Month in May, and developing workshops, walking tours, brochures, social media, the website, so marketing and public outreach. One of the things I've already worked on that I have been pretty excited about, one of the goals in that plan was to explore the development of a formal process through the Planning Division for development application review of potential historic sites where development may impact historic features. I think this is has been one of the sticky points where we just want to identify things early. So planning, we have a tag on the planning GIS map that says history check, and they're supposed to the planning division is supposed to notify me if there's something that has popped up. There are tons of sites out there that have been surveyed. And so, so far I haven't been getting multiple ones of this every week, but hopefully this will help identify if there's something early stages. And we actually have one on the next commission meeting with some sites that were identified, none of which are probably rise to the level of, they're not eligible for the register, but they're interesting historic sites. So maybe they want to recommend photographing or documenting in some way or something, but just bringing these to the commission before they happen, which is not just good for history of Meridian, but it's also really good for the developer, because then they know, oh, I have something on my site that might come up in the future that people care about. So we've kind of been informally doing this process already, but I developed an SOP with planning to do this. So it's a good step to improve efficiency and predictability of that process when there's historic properties. And maybe I'll stop for just a moment before I move on to the arts things, for any questions on the historic preservation side.
Do we have any questions for Cassandra from the commission? Hearing none, please continue.
Okay, I'll continue. So Arts Commission projects. This picture, several of you are in. This was one of the bigger public art projects and park identity projects for this year at Chateau Park. And one of my favorite pieces to work on the art side is the public art projects. So we have an ordinance called the MAPS ordinance, which is for Meridian art in public spaces, and council allocates 50 cents per resident to funding public art projects. Other funding might come in through MDC or through Parks budget or through donations, but that's kind of the primary funding source for our public art projects. In this last year, we completed the 3 sculptures at Chateau Park, 6 traffic box wraps, a mural at Home Court, and we acquired the 3 paintings for the City Hall collection, which you can see right over here across from the chambers. We also I'm continuing work on projects for the public art master plan, Linda Road, which is on track. We have some, I think there's 9 sculptures that are going to in the medians on that new roadway project. And we're going to be working on the community center public art, and Mandy's actually in that stakeholder meeting tomorrow. So here are just a few images of the sculptures at Chateau Park that were created. We did an entry sign, a flower bench, and a butterfly bench. They were all kind of themed with native and pollinators and native flora and fauna. There's a hummingbird kind of attached to this one, which I think is great. There's a bee on another one, and this bench is probably one of my favorite pieces. It has the technical name for sunflowers, Helianthus annis, and the butterfly there. We also installed, it wasn't ready for the opening, but if you've been out there since, there's a nice sign that gives more information about the project and intentions for the work, and the names of the things that are on the sculptures. Here's some images of the West Ada School District traffic box wraps. So we through the West Ada School District show that happens in May each year, the Arts Commission selects several pieces from elementary and middle and high school and photography for installation to become traffic box wraps. And we have almost 100 of these throughout town. So if you see any that are not wrapped, let me know. But we're kind of running out of wraps to boxes that are unwrapped to put them on. But we also, the lifespan on these are sort of 5 to 10 years, and the 10-year-old ones are definitely, it's time to replace. So we are just kind of like replacing ones as they need to be replaced. Here's an image of the piece at Home Court by Laurel Rao, and this was actually created initially as part of the community art party and then later installed at Home Court, and she did a lot of touch up and doing things, touching up the edges and things, but it looks really great out there and adds so much interest to that lobby space, which otherwise doesn't have a lot of color. And the pieces that are out here, I just want to talk for a moment about some of the imagery that's in them. The Flying Farmer and Cloudwife, that's the largest one on the top. That has the Zamzows mill in the background, features other agriculture and dairy industry sorts of references. And her style is very surreal and kind of whimsical. And this piece was created for a traffic box wrap in the past. So if you notice, the edges of all of them line up with the back. Although the smaller square one is actually, if you look at the traffic box, it has kind of, for lack of a better word, an appendage that comes out. So the edge of the trees there actually line up with the edge, kind of where those ladders are. Oh, and the ladders, that's an orchard to reference the history of the orchards. And the smaller piece there, the square one, references wiki-ups, which were indigenous to the area. She did a lot of research. She went to the state archives to look at what Native Americans would actually be using, not just like teepees. And it also has waterways and irrigation. And then the one on the bottom includes the Eggers Farmstead, the dual silo structure that is out there at Black Cat Farm. And this image is a little bit older because if you look at the piece, there's been a black cat added to the piece on the lower right. So you might look at it out there. And you can kind of see the railroad and the painting underneath. I think these are really great pieces. I'm really glad we were able to get them. So also on the Arts Commission, I've been working on a master plan. This one is for public art. We've been having regular ongoing discussions. We got the budget allocated to do the work this year, hired the consultant. We had a community survey with 201 responses, had several public outreach tabling events. We went to the Meridian Fine Arts Festival, the concert on Broadway at the Senior Center and Touchmark, talked to lots of people and got a lot of feedback. We did the Imagine Art Here workshop, which I know some of you participated in. And we have all the outreach results compiled, and now we're drafting the plan. So here's a couple of interesting, here's a picture from the Imagine Art Here workshop, what that looked like. And here were a couple of interesting things that came out from the feedback on that survey. Top locations, there's a lot more than this. I'm just touching on a few of the slides that I thought were most interesting. Top locations for art, parks were identified as the #1 by far spot for our pieces, which is great because I have wondered, a lot of cities, maybe they focus more of their public art in downtown areas or they do it in different ways, and we have a lot in parks. And it's nice because my position is also in parks. I work very well with the parks team. But it was very reaffirming that with the survey, people want them in parks. And some of the places, they wanted them all over, but at some of the tabling, Settlers Park was sort of the top location for a future piece. And downtown is the not close second, but second top location. Types of places or types, it says types of places, but actually I think that's types of work. So functional elements in the streetscape. This is a little different than some cities have returned on the survey. So people really like functional work or elements that have creative and artist design elements. Interactive and playful works, murals, regional and local artists, that's come up a lot. People would like us to use local artists where possible. And all the way at the bottom, people are not very interested in video projection or media-based works. This, maybe I shouldn't, this slide is totally in the weeds, but this is like drafting the plan, and this is kind of the outline of the plan. Right now, we're looking at sections 4 and 5, the opportunity list and planning process. So I'm meeting with the consultant every week or other week to kind of go over various sections as we draft the plan. But I do hope to have a draft this summer, which I can send all of you for review. And I'd love it if you get out your red pen and help with any typos and edits. Concerts on Broadway this year. We had 3 concerts and they were successful. As Shelley mentioned, I have been looking at these concerts and thinking about attendance on these have been around 180 to 280 people, which in this plaza does not feel like a lot of people. So they don't feel like they've been at capacity. And in contrast, Kleiner Park Live has been seeing attendance of like 800 to 1,200 people. They're very similar events. Renee and I have both been using bigger bands, tribute cover bands. So I'm not quite ready to announce this to the public. All this is an open meeting and I still have a lot of planning to go, but we are looking at shifting the series to Generations Plaza to better serve the downtown because while City Hall is downtown, it just is a little too far to feel like it's downtown. And I've heard feedback from a lot of the businesses that they don't see the attendees in their businesses. So shifting to Generations Plaza makes sense. And also Generations Plaza it's more intimate and it's easier to fill that space and feel like you have a lot of people and it's more vibrant. And also looking at doubling the number of from 3 concerts on Broadway to at least 6 of this series. Using a little bit smaller, not smaller, but like bands with a fewer members because we can't really fit like an 8-member band out in Generations Plaza. So far, I've talked to the chamber and I'm going to be presenting this to MDC next week. And the downtown businesses are very excited. They are very happy about that. And so is the Arts Commission. So that's kind of the direction that we're going. The title for it is Meridian's Main Street Mix. So it will be on Main Street, and Main Street's kind of nice because it indicates downtown. To be honest, that Broadway, concerts on Broadway, I think has been confusing for some people because they don't really know what Broadway Street is, or they're thinking of like a Broadway musical, which is not really what those are. So I'm also kind of excited about like a title change. But lots of planning TBD on that. we had a very good art week and the community art party in particular. We had classes happening throughout the week. The classes have been, I didn't have great attendance at the classes, and I'm thinking about shifting away from doing these classes and focusing a little bit more on the art drop during the week because that used to be sometimes I think when you have too many events happening in a week, people don't know what to focus on. And so focusing a little bit on less and doing it better. So focusing on the art party and the art drop, an event at the gallery, and maybe one other thing, and moving away from the classes because we had to drop probably half the classes due to low registration. So. Here's some photos from the community art party. We did the temporary mural structure again with it was kind of a paint by number activity where people could go up. And one of the things we learned from the prior years that we had lots of very young kids who maybe parents were worried about paintbrushes on their clothes and stuff. So we added a chalk art cube, like a smaller cube for kids to do the chalk on, which was super successful. We have a chalk art competition. We had youth performances. We had hands-on activities. It's a really great event. There was okay attendance, but there's room for a lot better. So we are also looking at shifting the time frame for this event to a little bit later, 11 to 7. And I think Renee and I landed on August 29th, if you want to put that in your calendars. I don't know what Shelley had on the events thing, but we're shifting the date and time just a little bit and maybe moving it towards the front of the park to get a little bit more visibility and adding beer and wine. So it's continuing to evolve and shift and do things that make sense, make it better. Don't have to continue to do the same things forever, try to make everything better. The gallery, I feel like a broken record, but hey, did you know that there is a gallery on the 3rd floor of City Hall? Many people don't, but it is an incredible space. We had 9 exhibits this year, 164 artists, and at least 500 attendees at some of the openings, the artist talks, demos, and panel discussions. We just had a panel discussion for this exhibit that's up there now in, I think Commissioner Tennington came to we had great attendance. It was really interesting. It was a great event. So go on and check it up if you can. And we'll have another show opening the first Tuesday of February. Our social media is also really active. So I do like to push people to our social media to check out what we're doing if you're on social media. And that is it. Questions?
Thank you, Cassandra. Any questions, comments from the commission? Commissioner Bobo. Yes, it's a wrap. I should know what street it is on the top of my head, but I don't. But it's out. I think it's 10 Mile. But it's one of the best wraps. Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner Helms.
Yes, I was brought it up before our casual discussion with a lot of different people about artwork around Lakeview Golf Course. And then, of course, come find out we have no traffic signals around there. So that doesn't help. And then I found out that Nevada Power, not Nevada Power, but the power company doesn't allow stuff on theirs. So, but I understand it's probably in design stage right now, I guess, for a new sign in front of the property at the clubhouse and stuff there. And of course, I'm just personally think about always having some type of artwork out there that shows a lot of humor about golf. Of course, you could just always watch me play and you laugh your head off. But there you go. So anyway, I just thought I'd throw it out there as an option, or if anybody's discussed it, or I put you on the spot there a little bit. But.
Yeah, no, not so much on the spot because it is something that we're actively working on. I don't know that we don't have anything to present on it right now, but we are working on some creative signage for out at the golf course and some branding and things out there. One interesting thing that came up with my consultant, and I don't know how much the public cares, Meridian has really used public art as identity and branding and signage. And sometimes there's been is it signage or is it public art? And I think we are, from the Arts Commission side, going to start making a little bit of a distinction. And creative signage is amazing and I love it, but maybe it's public art, maybe it's not. And so in order to put it into the collection, public art in the future, we'll have to have a commission vote that it is public art so that it's part of the collection. Again, I don't know that the public cares so much about that, but because creative signage is great too. So, but that all is to say that the Lakeview project is a creative signage project and not a public art project.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dennington. You have to tap the one on your screen now.
Okay. I was wondering on the traffic wraps, you were saying 5 to 10 years on them because I see some of them peeling
Mhm.
and they're getting pretty bad. So that's just going to get replaced with new art?
Yes.
Not just going to be redone what's there. They're going to put new pictures or find new students to do things?
Right, we'll do it with new art. And I have a contractor that goes out and checks each one and does a maintenance report. And so I prioritize, because we're doing about 6 years, so I prioritize it based on which ones are in the worst condition for rewraps.
So like I think Pine and 10 Mile,
Which one is that?
9 and 10 Mile by the Connections Credit Union, the one across the street.
What's the artwork on it?
A cow.
I know that one is in poor condition, yep.
Yeah.
That's on the probably sooner future to do, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Bobo.
Commissioner Bobo, the question was a list of artists to do these things. Is it competitive? It's pretty competitive. Each project is a little, we might go a little differently about the selection process. So for example, the community center art, I'm planning to do an invitational, inviting several artists that are a good fit for those to present proposals and choose from the proposals. Sometimes it's a wider reach for an open call. If we want lots of submissions, then we'll do a more open call. If we want less, it might be more invitational, but there is a selection process for each and every project.
It's fun that there's a mix of like kid drawings and photography or different. It is fun to see the different ones.
People love the student ones, yes.
They're adorable.
Commissioner Roberts.
I do too. I'm just going to say thank you, Cassandra, for everything you do. I appreciate that. This has to be one of the best community art programs around, and I'm really proud of it. So thank you.
Thank you, and I agree.
Oh, one
Yes, Commissioner Bevel.
One more thing. It is true. Whenever we have visitors come to the city, they always notice the art, especially, not especially everywhere between the parks and the boxes are what people, my family especially enjoy the different wraps. But in general, the art makes the city more identifiable and makes it just fun.
Wonderful. Thank you, Commissioner Dennington.
Yes, I also want to thank you because I love the initial point gallery and all the things that you put together up there. I'm excited with all those things that you do. Putting the artist reception, I always love that, just talking with them and learning more about the things. So I appreciate you putting that together. And even ran into a gentleman that his first time was at that talk. And I said, hey, you need to come to all of them there, especially when you can meet with the artists. I just think it's a great program. So thank you so much.
Thank you for also being an advocate for bringing people to the gallery.
Well, Cassandra, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we have our next item, unless any updates. Nope. Okay. Tammy Street Park naming with Mike Barton.
Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm here this afternoon to give you an update on a project we have at Tammy Street Park and then also talk about the name of Tammy Street Park. So this is a park that we acquired when the West Ada Recreation District dissolved. It's located north of Fairview Avenue, just west of Jericho, if you kind of know where that is. It's in an older neighborhood. They don't have any common lots, any common area. The park was kind of the common area, and it was owned and managed by Western Ada Recreation District for quite a few years. So that's the street view of the park. It's a 0.57 acres, a piece of grass, kind of buried in the neighborhood, and it is kind of their common area. So we've got a project, this is an aerial view of the park. One of the unique features of this space is that the Jackson Drain runs diagonally across the park, and it's piped in a 36-inch pipe, concrete pipe. So it creates kind of a pretty big constraint there, just the location. I mean, if it was on the perimeter, you'd think you could work around it a little bit. So what we did is we placed a playground area kind of close to the street. It's 40 by 38. And it's just inside the Nampa Meridian Irrigation District easement. We couldn't keep it completely out, but we do have a license agreement to permit that. So that's the location. It's 40 by 38. There's a little bit of concrete around it. That's a picture of the playground. I will say that the residents out there are thrilled that somebody's doing something to their park. So it's actually, they're super happy about it. And in addition to the playground, you can see the playground in the top there. There's an aerial view of the play value that it'll have. We're going to put a couple of shade trees in, benches on that little patio area, and a garbage can. So some comfort, convenience item. I mean, there's no restroom here or drinking water, but at least there'll be a place for kids to, younger kids to go and use a playground. So before I move on, are there any questions?
Any questions from the commission? Hearing none?
Okay, we'll keep trudging along. So the naming, the history of the name, I mean, it's been under ownership of the Western Native Recreation District. Originally, the park was named Settlers Village Park. That's named after the subdivision. So when the city took over ownership and operation of the park, we didn't want to call it Settlers Village Park because of the confusion that it's going to create around, like, oh, it's at Settlers Park. Well, Settlers Park is like Settlers Park, not this. So we started calling it Tammy Street Park. And so we feel now it's time to have a conversation about a permanent name. So some of the ideas that we have for the name is on the screen here: Solitude Park, Zenger Park, and there's descriptions that follow, Harmony Park. And then the other one that came up is just leave it Tammy Street Park. And honestly, when we did our outreach to the neighbors, they have we have one contact and they have a Facebook group, and they came back and they wanted to leave it at Tammy Street Park. They've called it that for years. They think it kind of has a nice ring to it. I think Steve went and had a conversation with the mayor, and the mayor was like, why don't we just leave it Tammy Street Park? So we are looking for feedback, direction. Do you hate all these ideas? And we'll come back to the go back to the drawing board and come back with something different. Do you want to, do you like these? Do you want to leave it Tammy Street Park? I mean, it's kind of already there. So I'll stand for questions.
Mike, I will say if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
So if the commission, after the commission discusses, would you like us to have a vote on keeping it, Tammy, or is
Please.
that? Okay, absolutely. So please, commissioners, if you have any questions, comments before, and then we'll go ahead and call for a vote.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Greer.
since the people that live there, it is their park, I feel like I'm in agreement with Mike that it probably should stay the name that it is. Plus it identifies, everyone knows where that is, that knows of the park. So yeah, it's just my opinion.
Commissioner Roberts.
I tend to agree with Commissioner Greer, but I would appreciate a little bit of history or background on Tammy Street. perhaps named for a previous mayor or someone, or
It's
no?
the street in front of the park.
Just the street in front of the park,
It's on
okay.
Tammy Street. It's kind of like 8th Street Park.
Okay.
It's on 8th Street.
Okay, just okay. Well, I think it's appropriate if the neighbors know it that way, especially if we're putting a playground there. To me, it doesn't necessarily become a place of solitude anymore. And sure, it could be harmonious, but I think if people refer to it as Tammy Street, that makes sense. So.
And so I'll just jump in with another point. So what started all this, I mean, we were kind of going along with it named Tammy Street and it was perfectly fine. But then we, as part of the playground project, we want to put a little park sign in. And then before we did that, because we want it to be identified as a park, a City of Meridian park. So we wanted to make sure that it had the right name before we went and spent money on a sign.
Commissioner Bobo.
I was just thinking that I like Tammy Street Park for all the reasons everyone said, but it also has that hidden, not necessarily hidden, but for Mayor Tammy, it just seems like a fitting Tammy, you think Meridian. It fits.
Commissioner Dennington.
Yes, I agree with everybody else as well. And I think it's kind of fun that it says exactly where it is, where it's located. And the neighbors like calling it that. I just think it's kind of a fun name instead of it being a, Settlers Park or Harmony Park. I think Tammy Street Park makes it very personal.
Okay.
Commissioner Helms.
I would just say if there's no more comments, I'd be happy to make a nomination or recommend a nomination that we name the park Tammy Street Park.
A motion has been made. Do we have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner Greer. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Approved.
Good, perfect. Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, may I make one more
Yes,
note?
Commissioner.
I really do like the idea of making a tribute to the founding family of Meridian. I think that should be a really kind of signature place. So I just wanted to put that on the radar for any upcoming places or something downtown, plaza or something. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Great point. We'll keep that in mind. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman?
Yes, Commissioner Dennington.
Yes, and just another comment, when you're starting to look at your signage, it would be kind of fun to maybe put a family, kids or family on the signage, so, because it kind of is more of a neighborhood
Oh,
feel. So
Yeah,
just an idea.
it's a good thought. Thank you.
Well, it looks like we will be moving our CUNA Parks and Recreation update to a later commission meeting. With that concludes our new business. Old business, we have Garrett White with our Parks and Recreation Community Center update.
Thank you. This is exciting. I get to come and present good news on our new community center and park expansion. I'll wait a second for Rachel to help me with the PowerPoint. There it is. Maybe. Oh, just took a minute to catch up. Wanted to start, we've been talking about this project for probably close to 3 years now. When we really first sat down and started talking about it, going through which property to kind of center in on and try to build this community center and park expansion on. And about 2 years ago, we settled on the Settlers Park area and the school district property right there, the additional 11 acres. So this timeline kind of shows kind of what we started with almost 2 years ago. And a lot of work was done before this, but wanted to kind of focus more on what we just recently went through, and that's the winter of the 2025 bid openings and stuff. We received the CDs on November 18th, right before Thanksgiving. Kind of did some checking on that. Our CM, Kreisenbeck, had to go through a lot of that stuff, a lot of plan review to make sure everything's good to go before we went everything out to bid. Went out to bid in early December. We opened bids December 18th with favorable bids. It was great that we were able to hit that timeline of bidding things in the winter when people are starting to plan their stuff for the next year. And everything came in under budget, which was great news for us. under budget with some leftover funds for us to do some of the owner provided items, such as FF&Es and stuff like that. So we're excited. Back just recently, January 6th, council approved our budget to start construction. So we've been working with Kreisenbeck to get a notice to proceed. And we're now working on a groundbreaking date. So like Shelley said and kind of teased you with, we're looking at mid to late February for a groundbreaking date. If not early March, some things got to line up first. One being Mother Nature and weather. Obviously, we got to figure that out. So it could be a cold groundbreaking, but we'll see. But one thing you will see prior to the groundbreaking is there's a pressurized irrigation pipe that we have to move. So you'll see a little bit of work being done prior to the official groundbreaking, as we want to move on that soon so that the irrigation water isn't in the pressurized irrigation pipe when we decide to move it or want to move it. You'll also see some fencing go up around the site, all around the site here soon with that. So I have been working with Meridian Youth Baseball, let them know like, hey, that overflow parking lot that's currently closed, they close it in the winter because of, dirt parking lots, gravel stuff. That it will go away as soon as it goes away, which means fencing stuff around it. So that could happen tomorrow. It could happen in 2 weeks. So we're working with them on that. One thing I should say regarding the budget that was passed, 99.9% of it is impact fees, right? So it didn't hurt against our general fund money. There is $500,000 of general fund money in our budget, and that's directly related to the Meridian Youth Baseball agreement. So they're going to be paying $500,000 over the course of 20 years for their agreement. And I think we kind of talked about that before, so you should be pretty familiar with that. But again, grateful for council to be doing that, approving those budgets. And we're looking forward to our future. We're excited. There's some buzz in our office just because we're getting a new community center on that. So one thing that I will be doing here in the next week or two, as soon as we get kind of more of a groundbreaking date, times, those types of things, we kind of plan that. I need to send an email out to Cedar Springs. And Cedar Springs is that subdivision just to the north of Settlers, letting them know that, again, we told them this when we had our public open houses and stuff like that, that parking's going to get worse before it gets better. So we want to make sure, because that overflow parking lot's going to go away that Meridian Youth Baseball uses. So we want to kind of explain to them in this email that, hey, parking is going to get worse, like I said, before it gets better, but we are doing things to help limit some of the parking issues up front. Now, people are going to be people. They're going to park where people want to park for convenience and things like that. But we are trying to schedule the park a little differently, as in blocking out some of the shelters during high impact days with MYB tournaments and or a big PAL, flag football day, those types of things. We're going to block the shelters out for non-reservation. They can be used first come, first serve, but not as a reservation. So it helps avoid the 300, group that wants to reserve one of the shelter for parking issues. So we're doing those types of things as we move forward. Here's the site plan that we're going off of. You see a lot of pathway connectivity. There's 347 parking spaces. We designed it in such a way to where, we're hoping people will park in for convenience close to the ball fields for those that use it, but also for the community center, right? So it's not just that. The parking lot is not just Meridian Baseball parking only. It's everybody. So public can park wherever they need to there. We're excited. There's open green space, obviously the community center. There's basketball courts kind of behind, outdoor basketball courts behind the gym there, as well as obviously basketball courts inside the facility. And then we're looking for a unique play structure to go in there too, for like a smaller playground. One of the questions or comments we get a lot with Settlers Park is Settlers Park is awesome. Why isn't there an outdoor basketball court at Settlers Park, right? So there'll be two part. I got to give Mike credit for that one. He decided, he's like, "What, basketball courts be cool right there?" So basketball courts, 2 half-court courts right there, which would be kind of neat. We talked about putting a full court there, but because that is also going to be used for fire in an emergency situation, fire has to have an access point to the roof with a ladder truck, and that's it. So if you put poles as a full court going, let's say north to south or left to right on this picture, there's a big pole in the middle of the way, they can't get through there. So we had to do 2 half courts. So
Garrett, you might want to use your mouse.
to show, if it shows here.
Yeah, it'll show.
This mouse jumps around a little bit. Right in this area, if you can see my mouse, that's where the basketball courts will be. So that's kind of basic layout of it. The partnerships we have is obviously with Meridian Youth Baseball. They've been great working through this new agreement, trying to figure out who does what, get field priority use, stuff like that. And they do such a great thing for our community. It's awesome. But also we partner with our Meridian Fire Department, the outreach center. So theirs is also going to be there as well, kind of in that darker shaded corner, the bottom left side of that community center drawing there. Layout, I think you guys have kind of seen the layout before. Nothing's really changed, although we do have a lot of access control components to this. Staffing wise, it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Although we've built this in such a way to where people can access the facility in the evenings based on access control, badge controlled, key card controlled, those types of things, so that we can still reserve the gym, for example, for youth sports, adult sports, whatever it may be. And they can reserve it, get the key code, go in and out. Everything's under video surveillance. We can watch everything live if we need to when we come to this thing. On the other side of the building, on the right side here where all the classrooms are, same thing with the instructors. Instructors can do the same thing to teach their classes. Here's some building elevations. The top one there is from the west. So basically if you're pulling in on Venable and you're looking east as you're driving up to the facility, that's what the facility will kind of look like. Cassandra kind of mentioned the public art spaces there, that rainbow type of square right there in front is not what it's going to necessarily look like. It's just a placeholder. Cassandra and her crew will get that looking awesome there. So I'm kind of excited to see what they come up with on that. So the next one down is looking from the north. So that's basically looking from Cedar Springs to the community center, if that makes any sense. The next one from the east. So if you're looking from the ball fields towards the community center, that's kind of what you see. And obviously the south one is kind of looking from like where the dog park would be, looking towards the community center. So I know you guys have all heard this before. It's been about I don't know, probably 8 months to a year since I've presented this to you. Not a whole lot has changed since I presented it last to you, but it just is kind of a refresher. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Garrett. Any questions from the commission? Nope. Commissioner Torn.
Just about the basketball courts. You said there was a pole right in the way from them, so you had to do half court.
If we made it full court, there would be, yes. So right now, if I can put the mouse back up there again, well, you can kind of see where it's at.
Yeah.
Those two poles, the hoops would be close to the building,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So you can still pull a truck or a big fire truck into that area. If you were to put a full court going with the poles kind of in the middle of that concrete, the fire truck wouldn't be able to go there. So there's two half courts.
Oh, okay. Because like I was just curious.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, as a teenager, we love to play basketball in my friend group, and having a full court is like
Would be awesome.
some of the best thing ever. Because you know, Heroes
Right.
Park doesn't quite have that anymore because they added parking, and so it's all kind of going away. But if there was a full court, like if that could happen, I know so many people like would love that.
Okay, that's good to know. Good to know. I don't know if there's a way for us to put it in there, but it's good feedback. I like it.
I don't know that there is here. I just want to make sure you're aware that there is a full court at Kleiner Park that's available. There is.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Taylor. Commissioner Roberts.
Well, I think just piggybacking on that, first of all, Garrett, super exciting. How exciting is this? Oh my gosh. But just to kind of piggyback on Torrance comments, I don't know how far along design is. I know it's getting baked. It's getting pretty well baked, right? But I do wonder if you could make some adjustments to that area in the north to see about making a full court happen, because I think nothing says community better than an outdoor basketball court that many generations can jump into, you know, whether it's programmed or on the spot. So I think that would be wonderful. And the other thing I'm thinking about is just, you know, in one of the workshops that I was involved in, we talked about how this place could evolve into the future, and maybe there might be opportunities in the future with more staffing for it to be, you know, a place for events, maybe family reunions or, you know, picnics outside or things like that. And so I guess I've kind of dreamed of a little bit more of an outdoor space, and I've always thought of it as being where the half courts are going to go. So, and I know that's something that could be changed in the future, you know, as a future phase, but just something that caught my eye today, but I'm so excited about this. This is going to be just wonderful. So thank you.
Yeah, my only comment to that would be is this area here, if you can see my mouse, is the back patio area that we're looking at, putting shade sails, some kind of shade structure back there, kind of a nice looking patio type of thing. In this green space, kind of between that and the ball fields, is a bigger area that we would have like a food truck pull out, kind of event area, lawn area, those types of things. Because we do want to host events there, you know, that type of thing. I don't know, like you hit the, you know, staffing portion of it. Are we really going to have staff? But there's ways we could reserve areas and things like that
like
for
that.
events. Yeah.
I like that. Let me just add, you know, because I work in design a lot. And so designing spaces with multiple uses, flexibility is always a great idea. You know, and I think of, first of all, I'm so impressed with how the parking's kind of dispersed and not all in one place.
Big sea
you know,
of parking.
overwhelming. So I think that's great. But perhaps, you know, some parking areas could be envisioned as dual purpose for like you're saying, you know, food trucks, events, things like that. And I do hope that where the parking is kind of close to Venable, and I know that's not a heavily traffic street, but anyway, we just do some good landscaping to kind of screen the parking a little bit too. So
Yeah.
thank you.
No, that's a great point. And if you see my mouse, it was just right on where I wanted it, but it may have moved. But between that green space, like I was talking about, we're kind of the event areas, there is an actual food truck pull-out area or loading zone type of thing we put there. You could probably fit 3 smaller food trucks or 2 larger size food trucks there. One thing here kind of depicts here, but on the open space, green space, we have a little berm there, because if there's playing soccer, we want a berm there to kind of slow about a ball or whatever it may be. And the landscaping, yeah, we want to make it look approachable and look sharp.
Commissioner Bobo.
Looking at the parking, when it's a full day, like sports day or whatever, pulling in there, you got to choose right or left and like a slot machine of whether there's going to be open spot. Is that kind of how it will work? Or will they have like directors to say this is spot is all full?
I think it depends on the event.
Visibility you won't be able to see once you get all the.
Sure. It depends on the event. So one thing we are doing to design this for major event parking, you know, if we have a huge Meridian Youth Baseball tournament going on, as well as a POW flag football day going on, parking is a mess. We're designing that open play space very similar to what we basically overflow parking. We have that overflow parking on the other side of the park, which we call Field F, which we've used, and it's kind of on the south side of the entrance by the pond, that big open field there. So we have gates strategically and curb cutouts to where you could pull in there and park in there somewhat organized. So, and that aspect, I could totally see like a flagger, for lack of better words, point people in the right direction. But you could park another several hundred, probably 100 plus cars in that green space area, based on weather, pending weather, obviously, right? But we are designing that in such a way to where you could have overflow parking in that green space as well. But yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Dennington.
Yes, I see where you have the future expansion
Mhm.
land or addition. So is that just for adding another building or expanding the building back to that area? In, you know, I guess where the beyond the half court basketball?
Yeah, some of the feedback we got during design with this is one gym enough? You know, because we have gym space that's always used, and at home court it's packed with pickleball to basketball, everything, volleyball, you name it. So one of the thoughts was to leave enough room back there to where if we needed to build another gym in the future, we could. So that's kind of the thing right now. It's based on a gym layout. Could it be classrooms? Yes. Could it be another gym? Yeah. It could be that. It's just save space to, we didn't want to put a bunch of huge play structure there. We want to leave it somewhat open. Concrete, yes, but, you know, more open for a future gym or classroom space.
We'll follow up. Yes, so when you're saying that, you're saying you would actually add to the building that's there and add building all the way back to there and make that a big gym?
We could. It could be attached to the wall. It could be a hallway in between. It could, yeah, however we want to design it, and yeah.
But it would just be an extension of the building
Correct.
itself in essence.
Potentially, yeah.
Mr. Chair, the only thing I would add, all that's true, correct, but there the way the exterior walls are set up now, it'd probably need to be a breezeway between that. So you'd probably have a breezeway between two buildings, most likely. I think that's how it would more than likely work if we were to add on to it.
Any other questions? Perfect. Thank you, Garrett.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We do not have any workshops this month, so we will move on to staff reports. Steve?
Happy New Year. It's we're just coming off a very busy event season with everything related to the holidays. We're now at the start of a new year, and as you might imagine, we're laser focused on this community center. That is the project for 2026, and we're excited that the contract with the Kreisenbeck Constructors has been approved. We got the addendum for the guaranteed maximum price just like a week ago, and things are moving forward. So, you know, not to be a broken record, but I just want to also say that it's very pleasing to me that we hit that bid window just right, because we've heard that now that contractors are getting busier and busier just this soon after the first of the year, you know, prices are starting to go up. And so I think we hit it about as well as we could. So happy about that. Happy that we're moving forward as planned and on budget. So other than that, you know, we're right on the forefront of, we haven't quite started yet, but it's already, we'll soon be entering into the beginning of budget season for FY 27. It's, you finish one and you start the next, really. So that's probably the next big thing on my radar that'll probably start in earnest next month. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. Do we have any questions on Steve's staff report? Hearing none. Mike?
Screen's on. Okay. Kim strikes again. Yay. The Lakeview sign and branding, we have another meeting on February 5th. Just to give you an update on that. So we'll depending on the outcome of that, we'll be ready to show some of those concepts. So I've been working on that, and also at Lakeview, we have a grading project coming up in the pond. We're going to reshape some of the sides, and there's a berm that used to be used for water storage. We're going to push that back up under the net and get rid of it because we don't need that little storage area anymore. It just grows weeds. Working on that, Settlers Park expansion and Linder Road widening landscaping is going to go out to bid here this summer. And so the landscape is due on that. So we've been putting the finishing touches on our portion because we'll have landscape medians that go from the new overpass to Franklin, and then also some buffer strips that are landscaped and patterned concrete on both sides as well. So been working on that.
And public art.
And some art in the middle, and hopefully it's lighted, but we'll see how that goes. We need to get the lighting reviewed, but that's, yeah, and a bunch of stuff. So Tammy Street.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions, comments for Mike on his report? Hearing none. Garrett?
All right, you guys just heard from me regarding community center, but that's been a lot of things that we've been going in our office. Another thing I've been doing is working with the Main Street Market and getting that contract squared away. And they want to start April 11th and go through October 17th every Saturday from about 9 a.m. to about 1:30-ish, 2 p.m. Been also working on a lot of our office sponsorship policies, job descriptions, park fees for non-resident versus resident, those types of things, cost recovery, Been doing a little bit of work with Rec One, our Civic Rec, as our recreation software in regards to some resident-on-resident stuff and some geo fencing, GIS arc fencing and stuff like that, just around city limits. But just working a lot on those types of things, but primarily community center stuff. So with that, I'll stand for questions.
Wonderful. Thank you, Garrett. Any questions for Garrett? Commissioner Dennington?
Thank you. Yes, you've just said Main Street Market was going to go through October because they only wanted to go through August this year because they said their growing season and people weren't coming, and so they had shortened it up. So what was the difference now?
Great question. Yeah, last year they decided they wanted to go to the end of August. So they went obviously every Saturday through August, and they tried it, got feedback from some of the vendors like, oh, we actually want to go farther. So they said, we'll go back to the old schedule. So that's kind of the reasoning I got behind it, or I got from it. So I said, sure, Cherie, you're running the show. So you tell me what dates you want. So.
Thank you, Garrett. And Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Nice try, Cassandra. I was like, wait a minute, you're the oddball out there.
Yeah, sneaked in. So after a couple of years of planning, we're really in construction mode, and that's been exciting. The latest highlight is that just today, Mike and I walked with our construction admin person over to the Rail with Trail project, which is underway. They've got a lot of really big pipe. We're doing irrigation work in the off season with paving to follow in the spring, but it's much bigger equipment than I'm used to seeing on a typical project site for me. So that was exciting. And we were also told, Steve, you might be interested in this as well, that in terms of a time frame to implement a project and spend federal funds, 7 or 8 years was not really that unusual, which doesn't sound wonderful, but made me feel a little better because this has been a long project. So we're really excited. And yeah, we're not amazed, but a little bit that it's underway. And it's just right over there. Then also with the 10-mile trail hub, the restroom is on track. We got some building progress photos that look further along than a May delivery, but so far we're holding to the May delivery. So we'll get site work going in February. And I'm not sure if it's certain yet, but soon I will be coming to you with an update on the Pathways Master Plan. We had a productive work session with the consultant before the end of the calendar year. And I think we've got some good ideas. And now that our consultant has some updated GIS information, they pretty much have a draft and they're just going to plug that in and we should see it within the next couple of days. So we'll be presenting that work to you and asking for some input. And I will stop there and stand for any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Kim. Any questions, comments from the commission? Hearing none. Thank you, Kim. Well, with that, we have wrapped up all the items on our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Greer,
I would like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
a motion has been made. Do I have a second? Commissioner Dennington seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So ordered. We are adjourned.